My name is Dr. Motheo, the Director of Indigenous Knowledge Systems in the Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences at the Northwest University in Mafikeng campus in the Northwest Province. I'm very glad for this opportunity that we have today to come and talk and share with you about the exhibition that we are going to display, or that we have displayed for the public to see, because as you are aware, this is part and parcel of the celebration of the National Science Week in South Africa, which is a project run by the Department of Science and Innovation, and we're also very happy to be partnering also with the Science Center at the Northwest University, also working with Professor Idupi. I'm not here alone, colleagues. I'm also running this show or this exhibition with some of my students and also staff. I will also start on my right here. We have Dade IKS Ambassador Utsile Maditi. He's doing his PhD in the Northwest University at the IKS Center, and he's also a staff member within the IKS Center, also assisting us with teaching and learning. We are very grateful to have him. And also on the far right, we have Ma'am Caroline. Caroline, she's also one of our master's students in Indigenous Knowledge System. She will also introduce herself and whatever that she's doing in terms of the studies and the exhibition of today. Then on my far left, I have the Rain Queen, Mujaji. She's also one of our undergraduate students. She's in her third year studies, and she is also going to talk to you what she is actually doing here today. So colleagues, in brief, or very in a nutshell, today I'm going to start to introduce the theme. The main theme of our exhibition today is going to be Indigenous Knowledge Systems, Innovations, and Entrepreneurship. So what is Indigenous Knowledge Systems? Indigenous Knowledge Systems, it is knowledge that comes from our own communities. Others, they call it community knowledge. Others, they call it local knowledge. We, in our own local language, indigenous languages, we call it kitso ya setso. It is a knowledge that has been there, developed by our own forefathers and grandfathers for many years before colonialism and apartheid in South Africa. Indigenous knowledge systems is not about traditional medicine. Traditional medicine and traditional healers is just one aspect of the things that we deal about. Indigenous knowledge systems is multifaceted, and it is also broad, and it is also holistic in nature. So what I'm trying to say is that, colleagues, in IKS, we refuse to be compartmentalized, because IKS, it can't just be about one aspect of what we are doing. Our communities in the past, they used to have their own indigenous science. They used to have issues that are related to arts and culture. They used to have issues that are related to healing systems and issues that are related to agriculture. And this is what our program or our center, including some of the programs that we offer, as you can see here, we've got what we call the Bachelor of Indigenous Knowledge Systems, which is a program, a 4-year program, which is registered with the South African Qualification Authority and also approved by the Council of Higher Education. It's a first degree, unique on its own in this country and also in the entire world. And as you can see, it has got all those streams that I've talked about. And some of our students, they are doing these programs, and they come from different parts of the country. So I thought that particular introduction is very important. So the sub-theme that I'm going to talk about, which will be the first one, I am going to talk about African indigenous art and astronomy. And this astronomy, in my own language, I call it Bole Badinaledi, because it is indigenous to a particular community in a particular know, astronomy, it is the first science in the world, and which means Africans, Botswana, Mazulu, Maxhosa, and other Africans in other parts of the continent, the Shona, in Malawi, in Cameroon, in Nigeria, and as far as Timbuktu, they had this knowledge about the moon, the sun, the stars, and other constellations, and they were not using sophisticated instruments like the telescope to deal with this particular knowledge, which is scientific, and it is also connected to our cosmological knowledge, because what we do in terms of our belief systems and our knowledge in terms of where we originate from is different from the world views and the science of other people like in the Western world. So among the Botswana, they have what we call, as you can see here, I have a clay pot. But if you look at this clay pot, it's very particular because within it you can see the illustrations of the stars to show that the local women in Botswana, because the story behind this clay pot, as you can also see them around there, they come from Botswana in a village called Kwarabe. These clay pots are developed by women in a particular community, and you see they also use their art to illustrate their knowledge of the sun, the moon, and the stars, because these are just illustrations about the sun. And also, if you look at this particular clay pot, it is also illustrating what I call the Pleiades, Isilimela Kota Selimela, which is a group of stars which we normally see in the sky. And when Botswana and other communities, including the San, they see this particular group of stars, they know that the stars, they give them an indication of a good agricultural season, because the stars, they talk. They are not just stars in the sky which we watch when we are bored. And when I come to this side, you can see this clay pot. It is showing you the different phases of the moon, because the moon have got different phases. So these old women in the community, they develop these things to illustrate their knowledge and how this knowledge can be preserved. If you look at this particular clay also, it's showing you the full moon, which is another phase of the moon. So this old women, the one who was developing this, she comes from a community or a village called Kwarabe in Botswana. And if you also look at this one, it's a modern innovation, it's a blown pot. And you can see also the illustrations about the stars, So what I'm trying to say here, colleagues, is that African astronomy among the Botswana was knowledge that was in the community. And the people who knew this knowledge were the old women in our local. Like, for instance, my story and my passion from astronomy come from my own grandmother, who I used to sit with her around the fireplace during the evening in a session called Motheo. She would be singing songs, narrating stories, telling us poems, riddles, and very interesting stories about the sun, about the moon, and other constellations. So I thought that theme for me is very important because it relates to this particular national event that we are celebrating, which is a Science Week. Because we also need to talk about the science that comes from our own local community. Because science is nothing, it means knowledge. So Botswana, they also had knowledge, which they also developed over the past, and this knowledge was also used in their day-to-day basis to address challenges that they are facing in their local community. So astronomy was in the arts, was also used in issues of agriculture. Like as I said, their elders, they were using the stars to know if this is the time to go and sleep, which is Upadidalelo, in the evening, the star you see in the evening. Right now you see them very well because it's winter. If you go very far out of here, especially towards Namibia, you can see all the stars perfectly without a telescope using your naked eye. They use astronomy in issues of human reproduction, like as I was telling you, among the Botswana, a woman is a representation or the moon represents a symbol of a woman. So these things they were talking to us and giving to our day. So I'm going to talk about my last sub-theme. My last sub-theme that I'm going to talk about is based on African traditional medicine. I will start with this particular small herb. I grew up with my grandmother. She always used to carry this herb. This herb is called African ginger. That's one of my reasons my grandmother used to chew this herb. When we were sick, then he would be sprinkling it around our face. Or she can cut it into pieces and put it in warm water when we had flu, and then you can get healed. And this thing, I grew up among the communities in my community. But this thing, one of these can also be used for different reasons, including even for fortification of the house. But you have to mix it with other herbs. You have to know the chemistry behind this. So what is fantastic about this now today is because the Northwest University and the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, this project, which is led by Dr. Sechaba Baretsa from CSIR, we are doing research on this African ginger in 3 provinces: Limpopo, Mpumalanga, KZN, including also Northwest, because it is also here. Because research has shown that this herb, scientifically, it can deal with the herbs that the traditional healers who went to CSIR and asked for CSIR to do the clinical trials around it. CSIR has completed that first phase of this to prove those claims that the healers who came from different parts of the provinces where this herb is facing extinction, to say that can you assist us to verify. But what we are saying here is that we are not using Western science to verify indigenous knowledge system, but we want to find a way of how we can interface knowledge systems, because of course this knowledge comes from the past, but it can also be used today by me and you, irrespective of our belief system, whether you are Christian, you are Buddha, or whatever, because it's not about the belief, it's about the healing powers that is we all know, because today we talk about so many things. I'm going to conclude by 2 herbs or 3 herbs that are very critical that I want to talk to you about, besides the African ginger. Is this one first? I should have started with this one actually. It's called Lengana. No, it's not Lengana, Kimbe. This one, we should have started everything by burning this herb. Because this herb is very crucial. It's also used for fortification. You can also quarantine with it because it's during COVID-19. Chases bad spirits. I learned also from Mama Virginia Mutwa, the wife of the late Baba Krewu Mugabe. This herb is very good also even for women who have got reproductive challenges in terms of menstruation and whatever. If they drink this, they also inhale the smoke of this particular herb. And they also use it in other things that I cannot say here publicly. They are led by traditional birth attendants and midwives who knows how to help these women who are facing problems to conceive or fertility. It's a very powerful herb. Today, I believe there are other innovations that could come out of this herb, where people will be developing perfumes, because also people want to, because you can feel this, it will be giving a very aromatic smell, and because we are also here in the building, you can use it to quarantine. No COVID-19 will come here. I want to talk about this particular herb. This is not a herb, this one. It's a concoction of African traditional medicine. You can look at it. I've been putting it in the fridge just to preserve it. This particular herb is a project which I call it Motheo. It's a project Yaha Me Khadinewe Maketa from from Kofikeng, Northwest. She gave me this herb. She trusted me a lot. She said, this herb, it's a concoction of many traditional remedies. I don't know what is here. She's the one who knows. She said the patients that she has seen that they've got symptoms of COVID-19, like flu, sore throats, when they come to her, she gives them this herb. And this herb, after a particular time when they go to the clinic or home again, they come with different results. That's the stories behind this particular herb. The last one is this one. Also, it's a project which I also call it the Feye project. You know the tree called Feye. It used to be there on our own communities. We eat it. This Feye is a project around Edwin Rakom from Mafikeng in Rustenburg. Rakom, he claims that this herb it heals COVID-19, it heals people with blocked chest, it heals people with flu, and people with high blood pressure. And people who have been coming to him, and they still come to him, even today now. They come to take this particular concoction. And after a particular point in time, they come to a situation in which everybody wants us to be healthy and to deal with the illnesses. So with those few words, colleagues, I'm very happy, and I would like to give now this time opportunity to my far left here, one of my students who's doing this IKS degree. She will give me the narratives and the stories about and the research and the science behind what she's doing. Thank you very much, Godeboha.
Let me take this opportunity to thank the IKS Center, the director, and everyone who's involved in the National Science Week project. My name is Mindy, also known as Mujati Malkhobela Khazradia Misapula, and I'm doing my third year in Indigenous Knowledge Systems in the stream of African Indigenous Agriculture. And I would like to start off by saying that when we speak of African Indigenous agriculture, from what I've learned so far, is that we are speaking of the generations of experiences, informal experiments, and intimate understanding of the biophysical and the social-cultural environment that surrounds us as people. So before you is a enormous wealth of knowledge in herbs that were produced organically by the Tojani Organic Farm that has partnered with the center here in the Northwest University Mafikeng campus. And when we think of African Indigenous agriculture, we're not just speaking of the aspect of production only, but we speak of the keen understanding of the fauna and flora, and also the seasons that we look at when we're focusing on the productions of our plants and our herbs. And indigenous African agriculture has contributed significantly in maintaining our biodiversity, enhancing food security, as well as protecting our natural resources, because it plays a very important role in the livelihood of community individuals. A lot of times when we speak of agriculture, we separate it, in most cases, people separate it from the well-being of a person. People just think of having food to eat and then, that's it. But when we speak of these things, we're speaking even of the spiritual health of a person. We're not just focusing on the physical aspect of it. Hence, we have different herbs here. We have rosemary, thyme, garlic chive, sage, yarrow, Artemisia afra, which play a very important role in the well-being of a person, because all of these herbs combined, we make teas, teas that help us with our health. They help us with different problems that we have, different problems that we face in our health, because you never know what is going on in your body. But when you take time to invest in drinking these herbs and making teas out of them, using them in our day-to-day foods that we eat, you're actually investing even in your own health. Meaning that the things that you do not understand that are happening in your body, these herbs are able to help you deal with them. So indigenous agriculture also focuses on, having a relationship with the environment. Every activity that leads to the production of all these vegetables in indigenous African agriculture play an important role, meaning that there is a need to understand the soil that you're cultivating on. What is the season? Which herb is able to grow in a certain season? That means that whatever you do, starting from the seeds, where you get the seeds, how you plant them in the soil, all of these activities play like an important role in growing all of these vegetables. And all these vegetables that you see in front of me, they were all produced organically by Mama Gina Lemankorea Dira and her farm, which is known as Tojan Organic Farm. We know her as Mama Gina here at the IKS Center. So all of this were produced organically. There are no chemicals that were used. And I remember there are words that Mama Gina loves to say when she speaks of educating people about indigenous African agriculture, is that she said that in her road leading to the start of the farm, she knew that she had to go back to her roots. Hence why the Tojan Organic Farm also offers educative activities to women and youth who wants to learn about African indigenous agriculture, who want to learn about their roots and where they come from. Because in indigenous knowledge systems, every activity is linked to our livelihood. So when she teaches young women or young people about indigenous agriculture, she's not only teaching them about producing these vegetables, but she's teaching them about the discipline behind how she plants the vegetables, what each activity signifies in indigenous agriculture, because we don't just plant any vegetable anywhere, and we don't just plant it anytime, however we want, because that can mess up with the processes that are very significant to the entire process. So we have your cabbages, your tomatoes, pumpkins, spinach, avocados, and then we also have our chilies. And then another beautiful thing about the Indigenous Organic Farm is that they process these herbs and as well as the prepare it themselves. The farm has their own processing techniques that they use, because like I said, that every activity in indigenous agriculture matters. Even how you process the herbs matters. You don't just process them anyhow. Every activity matters. And then the Tojan Organic Farm also has an eco trade with the objectives of providing in-depth information about protecting our biodiversity and taking care of our natural resources. So that's what the eco trade focuses on, and it's really amazing what indigenous knowledge can do for the community, because it's not just planting food and fighting or curbing the food insecurity in our communities, but it's also showing people that with the knowledge that they have, they can actually generate income for their families. They can provide healthy foods for their families, because there is the entrepreneurship and the innovation aspect of indigenous agriculture that most people don't pay attention to, but they need to pay attention to, because our health is as important to us as the foods that we're eating. So people need to invest in the foods that they eat. And when you're growing your foods, your vegetables, your fruits organically, that also plays a significant role in your health. And that's all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Koitsiwe. I am a lecturer here at the IKS Center, and I'm also a PhD student. Taking off from what Dr. Koitsiwe has said previously, he said that we are validating, but we do not only just try to validate what is indigenous knowledge systems, but we valorize. Valorize meaning that we add value to our own indigenous knowledge. So when we say we are valorizing, is that we are moving away from the 2-liter Coke bottles that are being sold at taxi ranks and coming to this, what we have in front of me right now. So I'll be talking to 3 companies that we are collaborating and working together with. The first one I'll be focusing on Mimi. Mimi is a company that is based in the Free State, owned by Sister Semela. Then we've got Pepisa Products. Pepisa is in Gauteng. The initiator and the person who the founder of the company unfortunately passed away, but the family is continuing with the work. And then one of our students here, our master student, Ras Pablo Motheo, also has his products, even though he forgot to put the label. So I'll be speaking to all these 3 companies. Maybe we can start here with Mimi. You know, a lot of people, when we talk of cannabis, they only think negative. They only have everything negative to say about cannabis. They only think that people are going to smoke it and they are going to be high and just go and do what is basically demoralizing the communities. But there's quite a lot that we can develop from these cannabis. I can start maybe here. Sister Mimi develops what we call a shea butters that we apply on our bodies. This is a 100% indigenous black-owned company. This lady did not go to any university to learn this. This is one of the innovations that she came up with when she was still studying at Cape University, Cape Peninsula University. But she was not studying to do this. So this is something that she had learned from back home, and then she saw that there's a space for innovating and then developing all these indigenous products. So she has shea butters, she has CB oils, creams, and also she develops capsules. These are what people buy, they use it, they consume them. If I can just take one and show you. This is one of the capsules that we do have from Sister Mimi's company. People are buying this, they're helping to boost the immune system of the people, especially during this trying time of COVID-19. We've got tonics that we do drink from Sister Mimi. They are developed not only from cannabis, but it's a mixture of all different herbs that she uses to come up with these products. We've got also, this one is a combo. You see, it's CB oil in its original form, is the drops and then also the tablets. And she also develops soaps and bath salts from moringa. This one is from moringa, this one is from indigenous plants. She does not mention this because we have to respect the intellectual property of our stakeholders. So whatever she shares, but whatever she wants to keep to herself, we also allow for that space. So we've got some soaps that are used to bath. They are very exfoliating, they give you that nice glow that ladies want. So they think they get them from Nivea, but we've got our own people who are developing such. Moving on to Sister Pepsi's products. She's also here. I've got 3 different products. It's the tonics, the force spray, what you call the force spray, and the jelly. The jelly, people just rush to Dis-Chem and buy rub. But this one just goes into the skin deep inside and deals with the pain that one might be experiencing. We also use it for pregnant women when they are massaging, because we've got traditional birth attendants like Dr. Koitsiwe has indicated, who massage. They only don't deliver babies, but they also provide the massages to pregnant women. So they use such a gel. These tonics are different, they vary. There are those for a liver, there are those meant for high blood pressure, and there are also those that are meant for diabetes. And they do not just, it's not a one size fits all. Go buy this and drink it for men and women. These ones are different. There are those that are meant for ladies. We cannot drink this as men, and then those that are meant for men. So this just shows how innovative and knowledgeable our people are. They are applying their own indigenous knowledge just so that they can be innovative enough to drive their socio-economic development in their communities. These companies, they also house or employ quite a number of people. They are not only focused on themselves. So when we are talking about entrepreneurship in IKS, we are also looking at issues that are talking to employment of the people in communities. The last product that we have here, this is Artemisia afra, known as Lengana or Mhlonyane. It has been very famous during this COVID-19 pandemic. People are using it all over, and it's also facing extinction because we are over-harvesting it. So here, Ras Pablo, what he did, he infused this one with cannabis. Even myself, I did take some. It's very nice. It really helps with the respiratory of a person. You can breathe easily. So if people are kind of having respiratory problems, they cannot breathe very well because there's a lot of phlegm in their chest, they can have these products that are developed by our indigenous communities. So that's why we are saying that when we are looking at the National Science Week, we should not only be focused on astronomy that is out there looking through a telescope, but also thinking that whatever is within the Western sciences is the only knowledgeable science. But indigenous science is out there as well. It's very valuable. It's adding value to our people. And once we talk about socio-economic development of the people, we should not leave out the indigenous part. We should not leave the indigenous people. These people are very innovative. They're very educated in their own right. So we never have someone who's illiterate from our indigenous communities. They can come up with this. So between us as the IKS Center and the CSIR, we allow people to approach us. We help with the research and development side of things. And then we also include the CSIR so that they can help them package nicely their products and help with the testing, the lab testing, check the toxicities of these products and everything, so that when we put them out there to the market, put the scan, put leaks, then people know that these things have been tested. But we are not taking the indigeneity out of them. We are not infusing chemicals into any of these. These are purely indigenous and organic. And with those few words, I thank you. I think Ms. Caroline will be finalizing with one part of our exhibition. Thank you.
Good day, everybody. My name is Nkumile Caroline Kosima. I'm a master's student here in IKS. I'll be doing my research will be on donkey milk, donkey and meat, and donkey products. Donkeys have served as a working animal, providing transport, plowing fields, as medicinal purposes, as well as food for humans since their domestication in ancient Egypt for over 6,000 years. The beast of burden, as it is being regarded in many developing countries due to its ability to carry heavy loads. However, there are negative attitudes, myths and misconceptions regarding donkeys. For example, they say donkeys eat 5 times than any other ruminant animals. They have their toxic urine destroy the land and vegetation, of which most of is not true. And also, there are donkeys compared to any other ruminant animals. They are less studied. They are associated with poverty. They are mistreated, neglected. Sometimes they say donkeys causes roads, of which is not true. Despite all the contribution that the donkey have had played in the agricultural sectors and provision of transport, we have donkey. They is other economy. Like for instance, there are other. There's much more on donkeys that we can look into. For example, the economic benefits and the health benefits. Here we have donkey milk, which was done by one of our partnered stakeholders by Moody Donkey Farm, which is in Pola Village, owned by Ramon Party, which focuses on the research and development. And we as we here in IKS Center tends to produces donkey project, consumable projects and non-consumable projects such as milk, donkey biltons, and others like capsules, also soaps and body lotion. Let's get into the donkey milk, which have health benefits. For instance, donkey milk helps to cure coughs, and also in Italy in the 19th and 20th centuries, they used to use donkey milk for sick children who suffer from cow milk protein allergies, and also for orphanage, because donkey milk, due to its resemblance to human breast milk. And also in China, as one of the biggest donkey breeders, they use donkey milk for as a supplementary treatment for TB, ulcers, and so many more. And with the modern hypocrites, they used to use donkey milk as to cure liver diseases, wounds, poisons, kidney problems, and also it helps with women the menstruational flow of the during the menstruational period. Women can drink it and ease all the pains during the menstruations. Also, in terms of the skin, it also contributes significantly to anti-aging and prevents wrinkles. So, when it comes to other products, as I have mentioned, the soaps and body lotions, they make the skin softer, and they also make the skin more radiant and so also these things, they contribute more to what the donkey milk, even though the donkeys have been undervalued in our communities. With this knowledge, if this can be studied more, we can also promote the image and change the status of a donkey, as many people don't know how this contributes to our economy. Also, in terms of donkey meat, it has been demonstrated that it is high in protein and has essential minerals such as zinc, iron, potassium, and phosphorus. One last other point is that, as you can see, this milk is frozen. Donkey milk raw from donkeys should be kept between 0 and 4 degrees Celsius. As I've said, all this project can contribute a lot on our economy. Like they can serve as a trigger to engaging unemployed people, because unemployed in South Africa is very high. So this products can improve the economy of our the economic role of our youth and unemployed due to this project. Okay, I think I'm done.